Cassandra Durham is standing before a largely male audience to make a speech to her graduating class. The year is 1870 in Macon, Georgia, and the students and faculty of the Reform Medical College are gathered for the awarding of degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to properly appreciate the difficulties that surround me, you have but to view me as a woman, alone and helpless, but determined to inaugurate a new era in the medical profession for the benefit of my sex. The female sex has in the past been denied their rightful privilege of entering the medical profession.
Because women who are chosen for the Women of Achievement have an inspiration level. They inspire others to want to do good. You want to be sure that you leave a mark on society, but your mark is not to promote yourself.
Her story came to us just several years ago because of the great achievement that she made as the first female graduate of a medical school in the history of the state of Georgia and possibly the entire Southeast.
Originally from South Carolina, Cassandra was born in 1824 and moved to Georgia well before the Civil War. By the time she was 30, she had lost 2 husbands to illness.
She was married 3 times. She married a cousin, Pickett, and they called her Cassima. They did not call her Cassandra, they called her Cassima. And she married a first cousin who died soon after their marriage, and then she married again a man named Windsor.
Then in 1855, she married Dr. John Tapley Durham in Preston, Georgia. He was a successful physician with an extensive practice in Sumter, Dooley, and Webster counties. The Durhams had 5 children.
They traveled out of there on horse and buggy and sometimes on horseback. And Ms. Durham, at the time, accompanied her husband on his round.
She worked very closely with her husband. She could find problems with females because she was a female. She could find those problems better and more quickly. Maybe a male doctor could have found them, but it would have taken much more probing and much more stuff that would destroy the confidence, the modesty of a woman.
In the terribly lean years that followed the war, Cassandra's life became more difficult. She lost her husband, Dr. Durham, in 1869. His estate was a trunk full of Confederate money, which was completely useless as a resource for feeding her children. She also had $200 in gold that she inherited from an ancestor. She needed a way to support her children, so she sent them to live with relatives and friends, while she moved to Macon to live in a boarding house and attend the Reform Medical College.
She had quite a trial to get to medical school, both from a financial standpoint and a trailblazer standpoint.
She decided, I will go to school, I will learn how to do this, I will get the title, and then after me will come better women. A lot more women will love to do this or will be able to do this because they will have many more resources than I did.
She came back in and practiced after she graduated from medical school and started her practice here, which evidently was a very thriving, popular practice. She no doubt had some great influence over the community, and they rallied behind her. Now, a few of the doctors during the time she came back and set up her practice grumbled a little bit. Actually, the census and the city directory list her as doctoress rather than doctor.
Dr. Durham offered prenatal care, safe delivery, and nutrition to the women she could reach.
The first practice she developed was called biomedical eclectic medicine. She was quite a trailblazer in that, and they taught this in this medical school. The medical school went out of business in 1881 and moved to Atlanta, and that medical school was later absorbed in what's today Emory University Medical School. She was tending to a patient at a little town called Ward Station, which is now Shellman, and had a massive stroke and died, and is buried down there in an unmarked grave. By then her children were old enough and they continued to live here and be a part of the community.
And nowadays, see, women are profiting graciously from what she did. You know, supposedly there were other ones in other portions of the country, but in Georgia, how fortunate are we?